Hi, Mary. Thank you very much for making your work available for Tactile Visions Woven. It's always fantastic to engage your work, and it's really wonderful to have you for this very short conversation. Can you introduce yourself for an audience who might not be familiar with you?
Thank you so much, Sharlene, for inviting me to your show. I'm excited and looking forward to actually seeing it, I guess not physically, but on the interwebs. My name is Mary Sibande. I'm a visual artist based in Johannesburg. I'm a sculptor and also a photographer, and I'm a dreamer.
which is something that we really enjoy, because it comes through in your work so strongly, and the possibilities that you bring through Sophie, the character that has been so prevalent in your work. Can you speak to the work that is specifically on Tactile Visions?
A few years ago, I stumbled upon the story of Yasuke, an African samurai who lived in Japan about 400 years ago, I think. And at that time, of course, Africans were believed to be static, not only in geography, but also in class. And so that story for me, it was, and to me, and I think it's a remarkable story. And that's what drew me to actually look further into Yasuke. Who is he? What is he? And what does it mean to me right now, 21st century Black woman currently living in South Africa, Johannesburg? And of course, my work is a collage of stories, cutouts of my personal experiences, and also what I see out there, and also just life. And also, my work also looks at stories, and of course, stories are a way I guess I can say we explore human, or what it means to be human. So my work is kind of story-based, and also fiction, and also taken from history. And what drew me to Yasuke is I started questioning history. And I think, I guess history can be actually a, what do you call it, a fairy tale, or a okay, what's the word? A fairy tale, or a children, or a story that can actually be in a children's book, because whoever writes it the way they want to appear in that story. So I started combining the story of Sophie and the story of Yasuke, and came the work Good is Bad and Bad is Good. And that work currently exists in a series that is titled "I Came Apart at the Seams." Okay, let me just start again. So that work is part of a series that is titled "I Came Apart at the Seams." I Came Apart at the Seams is a body of work where I, as a visual artist, I'll simply say I'm playing a psychologist. I'm looking at South Africans as South Africans' behavior or emotions. And the reason is that I remember a few years ago, while I was working on the purple body of work, I was watching the news, and I was heavily pregnant. And I realized, like, actually, if you just want to live life, or if you want to be less depressed, you have to actually monitor what you take in. So for so many reasons, I used to watch the news a lot at that time. I guess for me, it was a preparation, or a way of, when you bring a child into the world, you want the world to be a better place. You want your child to be a child and be an adult when it's time to be an adult. So I realized actually South Africans are angry. And for me, I wanted to go back to the source. Or, of course, as a visual artist, that would take forever. It would take years. And I don't have I guess, the right tools to actually go deeper into it. But I looked at it, I looked at the reason or the emotions in a visual perspective. And I realized that there's a lot of healing that needs to happen in South Africa. And of course, the Black body has experienced so much violence, and the only thing that it recognized is violence. And I came apart at the seams, I guess, started from there.
Thanks so much for that, Mary. You know, it's what's so compelling about your work is the fact that, you know, Sophie has provided us so much of Black interiority, the interiority of Black life,
Yeah.
and how you also do that through sartorial codes, through the and that Black interiority then extending into the exterior things that she wears, and the ways in which she imagines her world, all of that just becoming extensions of everything that she is. And so it's also then wonderful to then see this now, she's been, Sophie's been evolving more and more into this warrior figure, into so much more agentic figure. Not that she ever was not agentic, but she's, it's full on right now, right? And so it's wonderful to see. But as a last question, to maybe ask you to speak to this element in your work in which the dress, what one wears, does play such a significant role in your work?
Initially, it was about the color, because the bodies of work that I've previously created, they're classified in color. There's a blue color, there's a purple color, and there's a red color. And of course, red has an association of emotions, hence me talking about South Africans being angry. And also I looked at the saying in Nguni or in isiZulu, when someone is angry, they become an animal or a red dog. So it means that if you translate it in Zulu, it means that it means that the person is just beyond anger. He's not seeing straight, and he's seeing red, which also there is a saying like that in English, and he's become an animal. So when you're an animal, one doesn't think straight. You think in your animal instinct. And so clothes for me have played an important role in that. During apartheid, Black people only owned whatever they were wearing, not land, not houses. So for me, clothes are important, and I've seen that with my uncles, with my aunts, with my mother, where they actually look sharp. And you look at some of my uncles, they live in squatter camp, or they used to live in squatter camps. Like, that idea of like, I have to look good right now because that's the only thing that I own. And I remember a few years ago, but this is off the record, I don't know if you include this. So my mom told me this story. There was a guy who won the lottery, and he bought suits from Monday to Sunday, different colors. And this was just before the fall of apartheid. And yeah, so like for me, it's the idea, like, unlike now, people were like, well, what do I have? That property do I have? And sometimes once in a while, you'll have people who just, look at clothes. So it's the idea of appearance. It's important. The idea of how one looks, the idea of the kind of clothes that one's wear speak of who you are and what you want to be, in a way. So there are the wardrobe is very aspirational and is very important in my work.
Well, thanks for that. It's so important to have you articulate that and to be reminded of that, and because the need to have aspirations, the need to not condemn people for having these aspirations as well, even at these times, these precarious times that we find ourselves as well. Because even in our family, we have the story about this uncle of mine, who when he first started working, and the family was waiting for his paycheck, he went out and he spent his paycheck by buying these Beetle shoes. And then my grandfather then took the Beetle shoes and hit him with it. And even when I was at the bag factory residency, I remember sitting around when Uncle Dave and Uncle Pat would be talking about, the kinds of zoot suits they were wearing and things like that. And I love hearing these stories, because how else, are people supposed to have these markers of identity when
Exactly.
Like when you're saying, when we don't have, houses and land and cars, how else do you show these aspirations? Thank you for reminding us of these things with your work and in these conversations as well. Mary, thank you very much for making your work available. Sophie, as I said, continues to be an absolute inspiration. You continue to be an absolute inspiration. And thank you for this conversation.
Thank you. That was nice, sweet and short.
Thank you very much.